The stars glowed against the dark void as Lieutenant Kelly Morgan stared through the viewport of the human diplomatic vessel, Star Horizon. She had volunteered for this mission despite the warnings about the Zeltari species, the female-dominated. Alien civilization had a reputation for being both beautiful and deadly. Kelly adjusted her uniform nervously. This was her first assignment as lead negotiator, and the fate of Earth might depend on her success. The war between humans and Zeltari had been going on for 3 years with neither side gaining advantage. A peace treaty was now the only logical solution. The ship docked at the massive Zeltari station with a gentle thud. Kelly took a deep breath and walked toward the airlock. Her security team consisted of 2 other women, Maria Gonzalez and Samantha Brooks. Both wore standard-issue blasters, but weapons would be useless if the Zeltari decided to attack. Their real protection was the emergency teleporter bands on their wrists, a last resort if negotiations failed. The airlock hissed open, revealing 3 tall Zeltari females. Their skin shimmered with a faint purple glow, and their eyes were completely black without pupils. The tallest one stepped forward. "I am High Commander Zalra. Welcome to Zeltari Prime Station, Human Representative." Her voice had an odd musical quality that made Kelly shiver. "Thank you for accepting our request for peace talks." Commander Kelly kept her voice steady. Despite her racing heart, the aliens led them through corridors that seemed to pulse with living energy. The station itself appeared partly organic, with walls that subtly changed color as they walked. The architecture was both beautiful and unsettling, like everything about the Zeltari. They entered a vast chamber with a circular table at its center. 6 more Zeltari females waited there, each wearing ornate armor that accentuated their powerful builds. Kelly noticed how they all seemed to focus on her, ignoring Maria and Samantha completely. "Please, sit." High Commander Zalra gestured to the chairs. "The terms of our surrender are simple." Kelly frowned. "There must be a misunderstanding, Commander. We are here to negotiate peace, not surrender." The Zeltari females exchanged glances before Zalra spoke. "Again, your species is inferior. Your weapons are primitive. Your ships are slow. Our victory is inevitable. We offer mercy now, but if refused, we will show none." Later, Kelly felt her confidence wavering but remembered her training. Never show weakness. To a predator species, keep eye contact. Assert dominance through calm authority. She straightened her back and smiled. "With all due respect, your information is outdated. We have not revealed our full military capabilities yet. The ships you have encountered are only our exploratory fleet." A murmur ran through the Zeltari females. They seemed unsettled by her claim, though. Kelly knew she was bluffing. Earth had already committed almost every resource to the war. Zalra leaned forward. "You lie, human." Kelly met her gaze without flinching. "Shall we test that theory, Commander? Our main battle fleet is currently positioned near your homeworld. We came in peace, but we are prepared for the alternative." The bluff was dangerous. If the Zeltari called it, Earth would be doomed. But Kelly had studied the aliens extensively and knew one crucial fact: they respected strength above all else. "Prove it," Zalra demanded. Kelly nodded to Samantha, who activated a holographic display showing fabricated images of a massive human fleet. The images were convincing forgeries created by the best technicians on Earth, specifically for this mission. "Impossible," another Zeltari hissed. "Our sensors would have detected such a force." "Not with our new cloaking technology," Kelly replied, smoothly. "We developed it specifically to counter your detection systems." High Commander Zalra studied the images, her face unreadable. Then she did something unexpected. She laughed, a sound like crystal bells chiming. "You are either very brave or very foolish, human. To come here with such a small escort and threaten us, either way, you have earned my respect. Few species stand before the Zeltari without trembling." Kelly maintained her poker face, uncertain if her bluff had worked, or if they were all about to die. "I propose a different arrangement." Zalra continued. "A true alliance between our peoples. We have resources you need. You have technologies we desire. Together we could rule this sector of the galaxy." This was unexpected. Kelly had been authorized to negotiate peace but an alliance. The political implications would be enormous, yet the opportunity seemed too valuable to dismiss. What guarantees would we have that such an alliance would be honored? Kelly asked. Zalra smiled, revealing sharp teeth. Among our people, bonds are sealed with blood. She drew a ceremonial dagger from her belt. The color shifted from silver to deep purple in the light. A blood oath is sacred to us. Break it, and the universe itself extracts vengeance. Do you have the courage to make such a bond, human? Maria and Samantha tensed, ready to activate their emergency teleporters, but Kelly raised her hand to stop them. This was the moment that would define human-Zeltari relations for generations. She had studied enough about their culture to know that refusing would be seen as weakness. I accept your offer. Commander Kelly held out her hand. Zalra nodded with approval and made a small cut on her palm before offering the dagger to Kelly, the human negotiator, took it without hesitation and did the same to her own hand. When their palms pressed together, Kelly felt a strange tingling sensation. The alliance is sealed, Zalra announced. Our blood now shares the same destiny. 6 days had passed since the blood oath ceremony. Kelly now lived in quarters aboard the Zeltari station as part of the new alliance agreement. She studied the purple mark on her palm, a permanent reminder of her bond with High Commander Zalra. The scar tingled occasionally, sending strange sensations up her arm. A soft chime indicated someone at her door. Enter, Kelly called. Maria stepped into the room, her face tense. Captain, we received a message from Earth Command. They are not happy about the alliance. They wanted peace, not partnership with the Zeltari. Kelly sighed. She had expected this response. The politicians back home feared what they did not understand. We bought Earth time, Maria. This alliance prevents immediate war. The rest, we can figure out later. And the blood ritual? Maria lowered her voice. Do they know about that? No, Kelly admitted. And they do not need to know. Some details are better kept between us. She touched the purple mark. Earth has its secrets, and now I have mine. Maria looked uncomfortable but nodded. Our supply ship arrives tomorrow with the technical team. Earth agreed to send that much at least. Good, Kelly said. We need to show good faith by sharing some technology with the Zeltari. Nothing critical, of course, but enough to prove our commitment. After Maria left, Kelly prepared for her daily meeting with Zalra. The High Commander had been surprisingly accommodating, giving the humans access to many areas of the station, except the Central Command Center and weapon systems. Kelly had done the same, restricting Zeltari access to certain parts of the Star Horizon Trust would develop slowly between their species. Kelly walked the now familiar corridors, noticing how Zeltari females watched her, with curious eyes, some with respect, others with suspicion. She had learned that Zeltari society consisted almost entirely of females, with males being rare and kept isolated for breeding purposes. The concept seemed strange to Kelly, but she reminded herself not to judge alien cultures by human standards. Zalra waited in her private chamber, a room filled with strange plants and softly glowing crystals. The High Commander wore less formal attire today, a simple flowing garment that still managed to convey authority. Human Kelly, your punctuality pleases me. Zalra gestured to a seat. Have you considered my proposal? Kelly nodded. Yesterday, you suggested exchanging crew members between our vessels to build trust. I have discussed it with my team. We agreed to accept 5 Zeltari aboard the Star Horizon as observers. Only 5? Zalra seemed disappointed. Kelly smiled. 5 is generous considering the size of our vessel. The Star Horizon can only comfortably house 100 crew. We will expect the same number of humans to be allowed here. Zalra made a musical sound that Kelly had learned was laughter. Our station houses 10,000 Zeltari. 5 humans would be like dust motes in the wind. But very well, I accept your terms. As they continued discussing details of the alliance, Kelly noticed something odd about one of the plants in the room. Its leaves seemed to follow her movements as if watching her. She tried to focus on the conversation but found herself distracted. Is something troubling you, human? Kelly, Zalra asked, following her gaze. That plant. Kelly pointed. It seems aware. Zalra nodded. All living things on our world have awareness. The plant recognizes you as different. It is curious, nothing more. Kelly found the concept both fascinating and unsettling. Everything here challenged her human perspective. The Zeltari connection to living things extended to their technology, their ships, even their weapons, all partially organic and responsive to their touch. Later that evening, as Kelly returned to her quarters, she found Samantha waiting for her captain. "We may have a problem." Samantha spoke quietly. "I was examining the station layout as permitted and noticed energy readings consistent with weapons charging in the lower levels." Kelly frowned. "That contradicts what Zalra told me. They claimed all weapons systems were dormant as a show of good faith." Samantha nodded. "I know. It might be nothing, but the patterns match what we saw during battle with their warships before. Keep monitoring," Kelly ordered, "but be discreet. If they catch you scanning unauthorized areas, it could jeopardize everything we have worked for." That night, Kelly slept fitfully, dreaming of purple blood and strange plants with watching eyes. She woke suddenly feeling the scar on her palm burning. She sat up in bed and was shocked to see it glowing faintly in the darkness. A moment later, her communication device chimed urgently. "Kelly," she heard Zalra's voice. "Something is wrong. Report to my chambers immediately." Kelly dressed quickly, wondering what emergency could prompt a middle-of-night summons from the High Commander. The corridors were unusually active, with Zeltari rushing about, their normally composed demeanor replaced by obvious tension. Zalra was not alone. When Kelly arrived, several other high-ranking Zeltari stood around a holographic display showing a star system Kelly recognized immediately. "Earth-3 vessels have entered your home system," the High Commander explained. "They match no known configuration, but they are heavily armed and have destroyed 2 of our patrol ships that were stationed there as part of our new alliance." Kelly stared at the display in shock. "Those are not human ships. We have nothing that looks like that in our fleet." "Then we face a new enemy," Zalra said, "one that threatens both our peoples. The blood oath binds us to mutual defense. Your world is in danger, human Kelly. And by our sacred traditions, so is ours." The unknown vessels moved through the Earth system with alarming speed. Kelly and the Zeltari command watched the holographic display as the alien ships destroyed an orbital defense platform with frightening ease. "We need to return to Earth immediately," Kelly said. "I must warn my government." Zalra nodded. "The star horizon is being prepared for departure, but it is too small, too vulnerable." She paused. "I will accompany you with 3 of our warships." Kelly looked at the High Commander in surprise. "You would leave your station?" "The blood oath binds us." Zalra touched her palm where a matching purple mark glowed. "My honor demands I defend your world as I would my own." Within hours they were underway. The star horizon traveled alongside massive Zeltari warships, their organic hulls pulsing with energy. Kelly stood on the bridge with Maria and Samantha, watching the stars blur as they entered faster than light travel. "Do you trust them?" Maria asked quietly. Kelly considered the question. "I trust Zalra. She values honor above all else. The others I am not sure about." Samantha frowned. "There is something strange about this whole situation, Captain. Those unknown ships appeared very conveniently, just as we formed an alliance." "You think the Zeltari staged this?" Kelly asked. "I think we should consider all possibilities," Samantha replied. "Either the Zeltari are setting a trap, or there is a third player in this game. Neither option is comforting. The journey to Earth would take 3 days, even at maximum speed." Kelly spent much of that time in communication with Earth Command, explaining the situation and the alliance she had formed. The response was mixed, with military leaders grateful for the unexpected reinforcements, but political officials concerned about allowing armed Zeltari vessels into Earth space on. The second day, Kelly received an urgent message from Zalra, requesting her presence aboard the lead Zeltari warship. A shuttle transported her to the massive vessel, where she was escorted to a chamber unlike any she had seen before. The walls appeared to be living tissue, pulsing with a slow rhythm. Zalra stood in the center, surrounded by what looked like floating orbs of light. "Welcome, human Kelly." Zalra gestured to the orbs. "These are the memories of our ancestors." Our most sacred possession. Kelly approached cautiously, uncertain of the protocol for such a situation. We have learned more about the unknown vessels, Zalra continued. They are Kryvax, an ancient species we believed extinct. They nearly destroyed our civilization 5,000 years ago. Kelly watched as one of the orbs expanded, showing images of terrible destruction. Zeltari cities burning, planets left barren. The scenes were horrifying. The Kryvax hate all oxygen, breathing life, Zalra explained. They consume worlds, strip them of resources, and move on. If they have returned, then both our peoples face extinction. Why would they target Earth first? Kelly asked. We have never encountered them before. Zalra turned to face her. Perhaps they did not. They attacked our patrol ships which were in your system. The attack on Earth may be incidental, or she paused. It may be because of our alliance. Back aboard the Star Horizon, Kelly briefed her team on what she had learned. The situation was worse than they had imagined. The Kryvax had technology far beyond either human or Zeltari capabilities. We need a new strategy, Samantha said. If these Kryvax are as powerful as the Zeltari claim, conventional weapons will be useless. Kelly nodded thoughtfully. I have been studying the data Zalra shared. There might be a weakness. The Kryvax ships use some form of quantum field technology. They exist partially outside normal space, which makes them difficult to target. How? Does that help us? Maria asked Kelly. Activated a display showing schematics. If we modify our sensor array to detect quantum fluctuations, we might be able to predict where their ships will fully materialize. Then we strike at exactly that moment, when they are most vulnerable. It was a desperate plan, but the only one they had. As they approached Earth, they received disturbing news. 2 more Kryvax vessels had joined the others. The small human defense fleet was holding position but had already suffered losses. When they arrived at Earth, the situation was grim. The Kryvax ships moved in patterns that made them nearly impossible to track, firing weapons that cut through shields like they were not there. The human fleet commander, a stern woman, named Admiral Laura Chen, greeted Kelly via communication. Link Lieutenant Morgan. Your Zeltari friends better have something useful to offer, or Earth is finished. Kelly explained her plan to coordinate attacks based on quantum fluctuation patterns. The Admiral was skeptical but desperate enough to try anything. The Zeltari warships moved into position, their organic technology allowing them to adapt quickly to the new sensor configurations. Kelly remained aboard the Star Horizon, coordinating between the human and Zeltari forces. The first attempt to target a Kryvax ship failed completely. Their weapons passed harmlessly through the partially phased vessel. Kelly felt the scar on her palm burn as she watched another human ship explode. There has to be a way, she muttered, studying the sensor data. Then she noticed something. The Kryvax ships created a specific energy pattern before they fired. Their weapons required them to fully materialize for 2-3 seconds. Target pattern, Alpha 3, 7. Kelly transmitted to all ships, do not fire until I give the command. The combined fleet moved into position. The Kryvax seemed to sense the trap and began evasive maneuvers. One of the alien ships turned toward the Star Horizon. Its weapons powering up, Kelly saw the energy signature she had been waiting for. Now she ordered. Every human and Zeltari ship fired simultaneously. The Kryvax vessel had no chance to phase out. The concentrated barrage tore through its hull, creating a massive explosion that rippled with quantum energy. It worked, Maria exclaimed. But the other Kryvax ships are already adapting, changing their firing patterns. Kelly watched as the remaining enemy vessels began to retreat, moving away from Earth at incredible speed. They are regrouping, Admiral Chen said. They will be back with reinforcements, Kelly. Looked at the Zeltari ships flanking the Star Horizon. Then we need to take the fight to them. The scar on her palm pulsed in agreement. 1 week later, Kelly stood in the war room aboard Earth Command headquarters. Maps and holographic displays showed the movements of Kryvax ships throughout nearby star systems. Their initial victory had been short-lived. The enemy had returned with 15 vessels instead of 5. Earth and Zeltari forces had managed to destroy 3 more, but at a terrible cost. 7 human ships and 1 Zeltari warship had been lost, High Commander Zalra studied the tactical display, her tall figure drawing. Curious stares from human officers unused to seeing the alien commander in person. "Their defensive strategy cannot last," she said. "Eventually the Krivax will overwhelm us with numbers." Admiral Chen nodded grimly, agreeing with the alien assessment. "Our intelligence suggests they have at least 50 more ships beyond the border of charted space." Kelly touched the purple scar on her palm, which now pulsed in sync with her heartbeat. Since the blood oath, she had noticed strange changes. Her senses seemed sharper. She required less sleep, and sometimes she could almost feel Zalra's emotions across vast distances. The Zeltari had not warned her about these side effects, but Kelly found them useful rather than concerning. "We need to locate their base," Kelly said. "If we continue fighting individual ships, we will lose through attrition. But if we can find where they stage their forces, we might be able to strike at their command structure." "Impossible," Admiral Chen replied. "We have no way to track them back to their origin point." Kelly turned to Zalra. "The blood bond, does it offer any advantage we could use?" Zalra seemed hesitant. "The sacred bond has many aspects, some not shared with outsiders. But yes, there might be a way." She paused, looking around at the human officers. "It would require a deeper connection between us, one that has not been attempted between our species before." Admiral Chen frowned. "What exactly are you suggesting?" Commander Zalra explained. "In ancient times, Zeltari warriors formed something called a neural bridge with their blood-bonded allies. It allowed them to share consciousness, to see through each other's eyes. This might allow Kelly to perceive the quantum signatures of the Krivax in ways your technology cannot." The idea was both fascinating and terrifying. To Kelly, share consciousness with an alien being. The implications were enormous. But if it could help them find the Krivax base, it might be worth the risk. "How dangerous is this procedure?" Kelly asked. Zalra made a gesture that Kelly had learned indicated uncertainty. "There is always risk when minds touch, especially across species. The process could overwhelm your human neural pathways." Or she hesitated. "Our minds could become permanently linked." Admiral Chen shook her head. "This is too dangerous. Lieutenant Morgan is a valuable officer. I cannot authorize this." Kelly straightened her back. "With all due respect, Admiral, this should be my decision. The fate of both our worlds is at stake." After hours of debate, Kelly finally received reluctant permission. The procedure would take place aboard the Zeltari flagship under supervision from both human and Zeltari medical staff. The neural bridge chamber was unlike anything Kelly had seen before. The walls pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Zalra explained that the room itself was alive, grown specifically for this purpose. Kelly lay on what appeared to be a living membrane, while Zeltari attendants prepared various organic components. "Do not fear, human," Kelly, Zalra said as she positioned herself nearby. "I will guide you through the process." The High Commander began a low humming song in her native language. The sound vibrated through Kelly's body, making the purple scar on her palm glow brightly. Organic tendrils emerged from the membrane beneath them, gently wrapping around both their bodies. Kelly felt a moment of panic as the tendrils reached her head, but forced herself to remain calm. She had come too far to back out. "Now, relax your mind," Zalra instructed. "Open yourself to the connection. Do not resist." Kelly took deep breaths, trying to clear her thoughts. The room began to spin around her, colors intensifying beyond anything she had ever experienced. Then suddenly, everything went black. Opened her eyes, but what she saw was not the chamber. She saw stars, but from multiple perspectives simultaneously. She felt the cold vacuum of space against her skin, though that should have been impossible. She was seeing through Zalra's senses, experiencing space as the Zeltari did. "Focus, human," Kelly, Zalra's voice echoed in her mind. "Look beyond normal space. See the quantum trails." Kelly concentrated, trying to understand what Zalra meant. Then she noticed them, faint lines of energy stretching across the void like glowing roadways. Each trail pulsed with a unique signature. The Krivax ships left behind quantum disturbances as they moved through space trails that were invisible to normal sensors, but clear to her enhanced perception. There, she thought, following the brightest trail. That is where they come from. The vision shifted, showing a distant star system with a massive structure orbiting a dead planet. The Kryvax base. Kelly realized it was enormous, capable of housing hundreds of ships. Kelly felt herself being pulled back into her body. The connection with Zalra weakening as the neural bridge began to dissolve. She tried to memorize every detail of what she had seen before. The vision faded completely. She awoke, gasping on the membrane. The tendrils had retracted and medical staff hovered nearby, monitoring her vital signs. Zalra lay beside her, also regaining consciousness. "Did you see it?" Kelly asked weakly. Zalra nodded. "I saw it through your perception. Most interesting how your human mind processes quantum information. So different from ours, yet effective." Kelly was helped to a sitting position. Still feeling disoriented, she tried to describe what she had seen. The location of the Kryvax base was approximately 15 light-years from Earth in a system with no habitable planets. Just a massive space station orbiting a dead world. Later, as human scientists worked to pinpoint the exact coordinates based on her description, Kelly noticed that the effects of the neural bridge had not completely faded. She still felt Zalra's presence at the edge of her consciousness, like a shadow in her mind. Sometimes thoughts that were not her own would surface briefly, then disappear. Zalra confirmed her experience. The bridge leaves traces, human Kelly, especially for first-time participants. The effect will fade eventually, or it may not. We are the first of our kinds to attempt this. Admiral Chen wasted no time organizing an attack force, combining the remaining Earth fleet with the Zeltari warships. They would have only one chance to strike at the heart of the Kryvax forces. As preparations continued, Kelly found herself standing alone with Zalra on an observation deck overlooking Earth. "Your world is beautiful," the alien commander said. "So much water, so much life. Our worlds are very different, yet our peoples share much common ground." Kelly nodded. The neural bridge had given her glimpses of the Zeltari homeworld, a place of towering crystal formations and vast purple oceans. Yet, despite the physical differences, she had sensed a familiar determination in the Zeltari, a will to survive that matched humanity's own. "We leave tomorrow," Kelly said. "The attack fleet will be ready." Zalra turned to her. "There is something I must tell you before we face the Kryvax. The blood oath we shared, it has created a bond stronger than I anticipated. If one of us dies in battle." The alien commander did not need to finish the thought. Kelly already understood. Through their shared consciousness, she had learned the truth. The blood oath meant their lives were now linked, their fates intertwined in ways she was only beginning to comprehend. The combined fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kryvax system. Kelly stood on the bridge of the star horizon, which now served as the command vessel for the human ships. Her palm throbbed as she sensed Zalra aboard the lead Zeltari warship. Their mental connection had grown stronger, allowing them to communicate across the void of space without technology. "They know we are here." Kelly thought knowing Zalra would perceive it. "Yes," came the reply. "I sense their awareness. They are preparing defenses." The massive Kryvax station loomed in the distance, surrounded by enemy vessels. The structure was even larger than Kelly had seen in her vision. A gargantuan wheel with spikes extending outward, like deadly thorns. Energy. Pulses moved along its surface, suggesting incredible power. Admiral Chen spoke from her position nearby. "All ships maintain formation. Prepare for enemy engagement. Launch fighters on my mark." The fleet moved forward in perfect coordination. Human and Zeltari vessels intermingled, their complementary technologies working in harmony. The tactics they would employ had been developed jointly using the unique strengths of both species. The Kryvax responded immediately. 20 ships broke formation, moving to intercept. But they seemed hesitant, uncertain how to counter the unexpected alliance of their enemies. "First wave attack pattern," Chen ordered. The human vessels accelerated forward, while Zeltari ships hung back their organic weapons. Charging Kelly felt a surge of anxiety from Zalra. "Be careful, human Kelly. The Kryvax are desperate. Our alliance has surprised them. A cornered predator is most dangerous." The battle erupted with blinding intensity. Kryvax quantum weapons tore through space while Human ships fired conventional weaponry, modified with Zeltari technology to target the brief moments when enemy vessels fully materialized. From her position, Kelly coordinated the attack using her enhanced perception to predict enemy movements, seconds before they occurred. The first wave of Krivax ships fell back, their formation broken. But more emerged from the station, a seemingly endless supply. The human fleet suffered losses. 3 ships destroyed in rapid succession. Kelly felt each death as a stab of pain, amplified by her connection to Zalra, who experienced the loss of life with even greater sensitivity. "We need to target the station itself," Kelly transmitted to all ships. "The vessels are just a distraction, Admiral." Chen nodded. "This was always a suicide mission," she said quietly. She turned to her communications officer. "Signal the package carriers, move to position 5 human ships, the smallest in the fleet, broke formation racing toward the Krivax station. Each carried a devastating payload, a prototype quantum bomb developed using knowledge gained from the neural bridge. Between human ingenuity and Zeltari organic technology, they had created weapons that could affect the Krivax, even in their phased state. Protect the carriers, Chen ordered. All other ships provide covering fire. The battle intensified. Krivax vessels swarmed the carriers, realizing too late the true nature of the attack. 3 carriers were destroyed before reaching their target, but 2 managed to slip through the chaos, approaching different sections of the station. Kelly gasped as pain shot through her body. Zalra's ship had been hit, severely damaged, but still operational. Through their connection, she felt the High Commander bleeding her. "Life force weakening, no," Kelly thought fiercely. "Stay with me, Commander." "We are almost there." Zalra did not respond, but Kelly felt her determination. The remaining Zeltari warships moved into a suicidal position, drawing enemy fire away from the surviving carriers. The first carrier reached its target position and detonated. The quantum bomb created a sphere of distorted space-time that engulfed a section of the station. The structure buckled as matter phased in and out of reality, caught in the quantum disruption. "One more," Kelly urged, watching as the last carrier maneuvered toward the central hub of the station. It was hit repeatedly, shields failing, hull breaching, but still it pressed forward. The second detonation was more powerful than the first. The combined quantum effects created a chain reaction throughout the station. Systems failed, energy cores destabilized. The massive structure began to break apart. Kelly felt triumph surge through the fleet, but it was premature. The Krivax had one final surprise. 5 massive ships emerged from behind the dying station. Each dwarfed anything they had encountered before. These were not mere warships, but planet killers. "Impossible," Chen whispered. "We cannot stop those." Kelly felt Zalra's presence strengthen in her mind. "We must try, human Kelly. We have no choice." The remaining fleet regrouped, preparing for a last stand against impossible odds. Then Kelly felt something strange through her connection with Zalra. A plan was forming in the alien commander's mind, a desperate gambit. "No," Kelly thought, realizing what Zalra intended. "You cannot. The choice is made." Zalra replied, "Our lives are bound by blood. The sacrifice of one may save both our peoples." Before Kelly could protest further, the damaged Zeltari flagship accelerated toward the advancing Krivax vessels, its organic hull pulsing with energy, as all power was diverted to engines and weapons. "What are they doing?" Chen asked. Watching the suicidal charge, Kelly clutched her chest, feeling Zalra's determination and courage flowing through their bond. "She is overloading their core reactor," she explained. "The Zeltari ships are partially organic. Their technology can adapt, grow, evolve, and self-destruct." Chen realized the flagship collided with the lead Krivax planet killer. The resulting explosion was unlike anything Kelly had ever witnessed. A sphere of purple energy expanded outward, consuming both vessels, then jumping to the nearest Krivax ship, then the next. The organic technology of the Zeltari had merged with the quantum nature of the Krivax, creating a cascading reaction that spread like living fire. Kelly collapsed to the deck as pain overwhelmed her. The blood bond transmitted Zalra's death across the void of space. Her Vision darkened, consciousness fading. Through their connection, she felt the High Commander's last thoughts. Remember us, human. Kelly. Remember what we accomplished together. 3 weeks later. Kelly stood before the Earth Defense Council, her uniform decorated with new medals, her face still showing signs of the ordeal she had endured. The scar on her palm had faded from bright purple to a softer lavender, but still tingled occasionally, a reminder of what she had lost. The Kryvax threat has been neutralized, Admiral Chen reported. No further enemy ships have been detected in any nearby systems. The alliance with the Zeltari proved decisive. Council members nodded with approval, one of them turning to Kelly. Lieutenant Morgan, your actions saved Earth. You took extraordinary risks forming this alliance. Kelly thought of Zalra, of the connection they had shared, however briefly. Not just an alliance, she corrected. A friendship between species who once thought themselves enemies. What of the remaining? Zeltari, another council member, asked Will. The alliance continue. Kelly touched her palm, feeling a distant echo of Zalra's presence. High Commander Zalra's successor has confirmed their commitment to our agreement. She smiled slightly. They consider the blood oath binding even beyond death. As the meeting concluded, Kelly walked to a viewport overlooking Earth. The planet seemed different to her now, smaller, perhaps part of a much larger universe, filled with both danger and possibility. The war had changed her. The neural bridge had left traces in her mind, expanding her perception in ways she was still discovering. A delegation of Zeltari representatives waited for her in the next room. Their new leader, a female named Vestra, had requested Kelly specifically as Earth's ambassador. She had agreed without hesitation. The blood oath had bound their fates together, but what had begun as a desperate gambit had become something more valuable. A bridge between worlds. A promise that neither humans nor Zeltari would face the darkness of space alone again. Kelly straightened her uniform and stepped forward, ready to continue what she and Zalra had begun. The stars waited, and humanity's place among them was only beginning to be defined.